What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here. The first round of the 2025 NFL draft class is officially in the books, and Aaron Glenn must have woke up knowing that the Jets need more pancakes on Sundays because he went out and selected the mauler out of Missouri tackle Armand Mimbu, and this felt like the right pick. Not only was it safe, it was solid. It fits the foundation of how Aaron Glenn mentioned in his press conference he expects this roster to be built out, which is the inside out trench play, and then you go to skill positions in some of those non-premium slots, right? So with that said, Aaron Glenn called it the perfect storm. The measurables were there, the athleticism was there, the tangible skill set was there. I feel strongly that we should be able to get him developed up and get that consistency from a play-to-play basis down. But realistically, Olu Fashanu, Armand Mimbu, I really hope, 7, 10, 12 years down the line, these guys are still holding down the tackle fort, and we're not really having to worry about doing anything more than stashing and developing guys behind them that hopefully we trade off for picks later in the future. But he feels like he fits the aesthetic of what you want to see out of a Jets offensive lineman. So with that said, we turn our attention to rounds 2 and 3. And with 9 picks ahead of us and, the Browns getting a couple extra picks to fit in there inside those top 10 picks, it still feels like, look at the run that happened in round 1. 5 defensive tackles. You had 2 running backs in kind of a return of value for that unit. You only had 1 quarterback come off the board. I think only 2 wide receivers were drafted. So a ton of late attention on defense with the edge and DT guys coming off. And so there's a lot of players on the start of day 2 that in probably 10 out of 10 mock drafts were going in round 1. So with that said, I think there's still a strong opportunity for the Jets to land someone that they still really covet at one of our 3 positions of need: defensive tackle, wide receiver, and tight end here. So some of the players that I do think will come off the board ahead of us, which will make this, again, a lot easier for us. Will Johnson. Unless there's questions around the medicals or something, I'm shocked that he's here on day 2 realistically, but I think he gets scooped up extremely quick. Mike Green, the edge rusher, running back Travion Henderson, Shedeur Sanders. There were late rumors yesterday that most people had him graded as a round 2 prospect. And you can say the same is true for Cam Ward, but overall it just felt like things were really working against him. But I assume somebody will try to pick him up in quick order now that the value is kind of matching where they expect the talent level to be at. Donovan Ezaraku, one of the other premier edge rushers in this class. And then you look at positions that the Jets don't really need, much like with edge. Cornerback, Siobhan Revelle still out there. Trey Amos is still out there. So I expect these guys to push down a few more players to the Jets so that they can have their pick of the litter. But some of the names to know at each of the positions. I think for defensive tackle, you still want that bigger body, run-stopping, double team requiring kind of presence that still offers some kind of pass rush upside as opposed to just being the big man. Ideally, you find someone that can be out there for 3 downs. It's the rarity that you'll find someone that can be out there for all 4 downs overall. But if you can find a 3-down potential player here, even if it takes a year or 2 to kind of get to that point in time, it's a win. And I think guys like Darius Alexander, Alfred Collins, Joshua Farmer, JJ Pegues, and Deion Walker would all be potential names that fall somewhere in round 2 and round 3, especially if you continue to see a run here. I think some of these names will come off maybe a little more quicker than expected. Deion Walker, for example, I think has gone as high as round 4, where recently he's been projected a little bit more to us, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he ends up somewhere around 3 as well. Connections to Shamar Turner have been out there for us. Alfred Collins has been a pretty common pick. So we'll see how the Jets kind of stick to their philosophy of building it out in the trenches. Obviously, you've taken care of the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, you still want to make sure that Quentin Williams isn't out there just having to take on everything by himself when it comes to the interior work. Then a wide receiver, still would love to get a X receiver, size, speed prospect that can win on the boundary, can help kind of be that plus possession receiver, and be that Robin to Garrett Wilson's Batman. And some of the names are going to be Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Jack Besh, Jalen Royals, Ty Felton, and Savion Williams. So a pretty solid list of guys out there that fit that mold, but we need a starting slot wide receiver as well. So any name is up here for grabs, right? You can still say that Luther Burden, Jalen Noel should be up. Kyle Williams is a popular rising name. So not surprised if any of these come up and end up being on the card in day 2. And then for tight end, I personally think that we'll target tight end in round 2 and then try to circle back based on the value of the defensive tackle class in round 3. But Elijah Royal, Mason Taylor, Terrence Ferguson, and Gunnar Helm are the names to know that I assume will all land somewhere in day 2 of the draft class. And if I had to bet on it, Mason Taylor is probably the name. I know it's going to be a bit of that legacy pick and everything, but if you want a day 1 kind of ready prospect that's going to offer a level of consistency while still having some upside, I think Mason Taylor is that guy. And then again, with him being a legacy pick, having a connection to, Aaron Glenn and playing days with fathers and all that kind of good stuff, it just makes a ton of sense for the Jets to go out there and secure his services, bringing a level of size and speed as well. I think someone like Harold Fannin isn't necessarily as exciting of a prospect for Jets fans that want somebody that has the ability to be able to go out there and block a little bit and play in line without you having to be so scared of them just getting shredded, every down. But I'm hyped. I think Aaron Glenn is living up to his reputation of having his blueprint on the team. From everything he's saying and the actions that we've seen, it feels like we will start having a team that's built on the general perception of how you craft a Super Bowl caliber, playoff caliber roster, which is trench play first, and then you target, exceptions at non-premium positions, etc., or otherwise is going to be positions that can make plays on the ball, like cornerback, like anything that, again, that's on the D-line, O-line, etc., etc. So we'll see. I expect some more trades to happen in day 2 as well, and I would still love to see us be able to trade back at some point and maybe pick up, early day 3 pick or something like that in return. Maybe an extra third would be awesome. But which also reminds me, as we wrap up here, I know there was some Breece Hall chatter yesterday about a trade. Was happy to see Darren Muji shut that down. Would be great to be able to hit reset with a draft class is considered historical at the running back position, but overall, don't force another need that we need to fill, right? We want to really try to enhance and accentuate the roster with what we already have on here. So again, let me know what you guys think, not only just about the Armand Midbu pick, but what do you think we are going to target in round 2 and round 3? Again, I feel like we're going to go tight end and then defensive tackle, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you again. Peace.